Could Tom Brady be returning to the NFL and specifically the New England Patriots? I know it sounds crazy, but, well, he did actually say something about that. He hopped on a barbershop video with Vic Blends, and they asked him about returning to the National Football League, and he had this to say. I'm not opposed to it. I don't know if they're going to let me if I become an owner in an NFL team. Sidebar, because obviously he has been in talks with being an owner in the Las Vegas Raiders organization. But I don't know. I'm always going to be in good shape. I'm always going to be able to throw the ball. So to come in for a little bit like MJ, coming back, I don't know if they'd let me, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. And this made a lot of rounds in the NFL circles because this could be like, is Tom Brady actually going to return to the NFL? There's no way, right? He's currently 46 years old and is going to be 47 by the time August rolls around, August 3rd. Never forget the GOAT's birthday, by the way. But in all reality, there is a likely less than 1% chance he returns to the NFL, and there's just no way it's going to happen. But it would be quite awesome if he did come back to the NFL. And we'll talk about his numbers in just a second because he did not retire going out sad like most people did. His final years in this league were absolutely fantastic. But it's GOAT talk time, baby. Show some love to Tom Brady, the GOAT of the NFL, the GOAT of the New England Patriots, the reason why this is the best franchise in all of the National Football League, and the reason why we have 6 Super Bowls. Spam 12 down below in the comment section. I don't want to see one person comment down below that didn't say 12. We talked about Brady's final 4 years, and obviously he had 2019 in New England, his last year with the Patriots in Foxborough, and then he played 3 more seasons as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. And his 3 years in Tampa were just absolutely splendid. Obviously took them to a Super Bowl and won his personal 7th ring as the first-year guy in Tampa. He was just absolutely unbelievable in that playoff run. But then in 2021, he should have won MVP, right? Aaron Rodgers won it, but Brady, in my eyes, should have with 5,300 yards, 43 touchdowns, 12 INTs, and had a QB rating of 102. He obviously had a little bit of a decline in his final year, but those are still really good numbers if you're asking me. And when I'm looking at Tom Brady's numbers here, he could have played more, and maybe his body felt differently. But when you just look at the raw statistics he was putting up in that Tampa Bay offense, granted, yes, they had a lot of good weapons and he was getting to call a lot of the shots offensively, but that didn't look like a quarterback that was ready to retire. And even though he is 46, about to turn 47, there's definitely some gas in the tank. And if we just explored the idea of him returning to New England, he'd honestly still be the best quarterback on this roster, if we're going to be honest. Nathan O'Rourke, QB3, Bailey Zappi, QB2. Sure, Jacoby Brissett was fine a couple years ago for the Cleveland Browns and was a solid backup in Washington, among other places. But let's not get it twisted. If you had one game to win tomorrow in the National Football League, I believe that all 32 National Football League GMs would actually still pick Tom Brady over Jacoby Brissett. And that's no hate to my guy Jacoby. Hopefully he's going to do some nice things for New England, as I do anticipate him being the starter a little bit in the beginning of this year because I think they sit the rookie quarterback. Unless they take Jayden Daniels. If they take Jayden Daniels, I think he starts. If it's Drake Maye, I actually think Jacoby Brissett will be starter come week 1. All right, that was a fun little start to the show. But now coming up in the rest of the show, we're going to talk about NFL draft rumors, J.J. McCarthy, Kingsley Suamataia. And if you want to make sure you are up to date on the latest around the New England Patriots, hit that sub button. Could we get to 11,000 subscribers before the draft starts? We're a week and a half away. I think it's very possible. Let's do it. 830 subscribers, 170, whatever it is. Hit that sub button. All right, are the Patriots out on Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy? Because the latest NFL draft rumors coming from ESPN suggest and didn't have the Patriots linked to the Michigan standout quarterback. Jordan Reid, the ESPN NFL draft insider/analyst, had this to say. So while McCarthy is still projected as a top 10 pick, I think number 2 is just too high, in referring to the buzz surrounding him in Washington. The Vikings, Broncos, or Raiders via trades up the board are viewed as the more likely landing spots for him. And to me, this makes sense, right? I think we have a clear tier break amongst quarterbacks in this draft class. I think Caleb Williams, number one. Put my hand on screen there. That's clear number one. I think number 2 or 3 is depending on your choice, but Daniels or May are right there. And then I think there's a little bit of a tier break once again for J.J. McCarthy. I know a lot of people feel differently, but that's the way I view the quarterback class. And as long as I'm up here spewing this nonsense, that's what I'm going to say. I think J.J., and then there's a tier break between Nix, Penix, whatever you like. But I do think J.J. is a little bit farther down from Drake Maye or Jayden Daniels. He is a good player, though. You can't get it twisted. One of the most winningest players in college football history. Only lost one game as a starter as a Wolverine and brought, obviously, the Wolverines a championship in 2024. And the honest truth is, I think he is a very good quarterback prospect. But when you think about where QBs go in this draft process and why some are taken higher than others, a lot of it is not looked at success at the collegiate level, but it's looked at a projection, what they can be in the NFL, and how high their ceiling can actually go. And to me, Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels, their ceilings are just way higher than J.J. McCarthy's. Is McCarthy a better pro to come up the gate? Possibly. And it's kind of crazy to think that he is the youngest quarterback prospect, which you can also use against me and say, well, if he's the youngest and he's already got better footwork, he can be the highest ceiling. But the idea is he doesn't make the wow plays. He's athletic, but he doesn't have the arm strength and the ability to tack the middle of the field like a Drake Maye does. He doesn't have the wheels and athletic ability of a Jayden Daniels. It's just, to me, a little bit different when you look at these two guys. And in the NFL, specifically in the AFC for the Patriots, when you have to compete with the Burrows, you have to compete with the Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, the Herberts. You need a quarterback that can win the quote-unquote QB arms race. And to me, Jayden Daniels or Drake Maye has a much better chance, if they hit, to be on that tier as those two rather than J.J. McCarthy. No knock on McCarthy. I just don't think he has a higher ceiling than the other two quarterbacks I just mentioned. More to get to on today's show, but I have to make sure you guys are hooked up with Fanatics. I mean, are you kidding me? Look at this combination that they have on sale for you. $20 off this Patriots shirt and hat combo at chatsports.com/PatsCombo. Great little accent there with the blue to the red. $20 off, like I mentioned. They just restocked. They have all sizes from small, medium, large, extra large, double XL. They have it all. I am going to put the link in the description and comments, so don't miss out before they do run out of sizes. Chatsports.com/PatsCombo. All right, let's talk about the second round pick for New England now, because kind of seems like the Patriots might be eyeing a left tackle at number 34. Jordan Reid again on the Patriots here, and he said if the Pats do go quarterback in the first round, I'd keep an eye on BYU offensive tackle Kingsley Suamataia at number 34. The team has done a lot of homework on him. And to me, this makes sense, right? A lot of people want wide receiver at 34, which I still think is a very strong possibility as well. But when you think of this roster for New England, that left tackle spot is very, very spotty. And if you're going to trot out a rookie quarterback out there, you need to know that he is going to have at least some time to stand in the pocket, diagnose the defense, and deliver a dot over the middle of the field or on the boundary. The left tackle for New England is either Connor McDermott or Chukwuma Okorafor right now, whoever be winning that camp battle. But we all expect them to add someone in the draft. Now, if it is Suamataia at 34, he's a high upside, high trait guy that to me can go really well for New England. It's just a matter if they get him in the right system and get the right coaching for him. But we'll dive more into Kingsley here in just a second. But I just want to know about the overall position for New England. Should the Patriots draft an offensive tackle at number 34? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I get both reasons to go with wide receiver or offensive tackle. It really depends on how the board falls out. If a stud wide receiver falls, I'm obviously taking him. But if all the top ones are gone, then I'm absolutely okay taking a left tackle or just an offensive tackle in general as well. All right, let's take a deep dive into Kingsley Suamataia now, because in his final year at BYU, he was fine. Grade was a little bit lower than usual. But remember, BYU jumped into the Big 12, so there's a little bit of a talent upgrade that he had to play against on a daily baseless. And I'm not going to come out here and say Kingsley Suamataia is the most well-rounded, polished prospect at left tackle. He's a traits guy. And when you look at what he did at his pro day / his NFL Combine, he was fantastic. I mean, remember, these RAS grades go from a scale to 10. So 9.39 is fantastic. He's got okay size, great strength, as you see that weight and bench numbers. The quick burst is there too, which, hey, if New England wants to play more of a zone-based rushing attack or offensive line, Kingsley's going to do a great job of that because he's very athletic. He can get out in space, get his hands and paws on linebackers, safeties down the field, which is why you see the right side of your screen be so important if you're going to a zone base. Another name, by the way, just quick little tangent, Jordan Morgan of Arizona is another really solid athletic left tackle that New England could target at 34, who is kind of like Kingsley to where not completely polished, a little bit of a traits raw guy, but is so athletic he would work perfectly in a system that New England could employ with that zone base. Dane Brugler had more to say on Kingsley Suamataia. Said, overall, Suamataia is still very young and lacks refinement in several areas, but his blend of size, mobility, and core power are the foundation of a scheme-diverse NFL starter. He will require a patient coaching staff who can ease his transition to the pro level. And Brugler, who is the athletics #1 guy in terms of draft content, and I actually believe he could be argued as the best guy in the draft. He has him ranked as the number 40th overall prospect and a second-round grade on him. So Kingsley Suamataia, a little bit of a reach there if you just take his raw rankings, if you take him at 34. But I've also been on record saying I truly believe if the Patriots do not trade 34 to move up to the end of the first round to take an offensive tackle, trade for Brandon Ayuk / T. Higgins, or draft up into the first round to take a wide receiver, I don't think they'll stay at 34. To me, I think they'll trade back, gather maybe a couple more assets in the 4th, 5th round to just have more darts to throw at the board to get more players for this team. So I could see Kingsley Suamataia being a pick for New England if they trade back from 34 to whether it be in that 40 to 50 range in the second round. And I could be all in on taking him, maybe have him compete with Connor McDermott, Chukwuma Okorafor. If he beats him in training camp, great, because you might have found your star left tackle. If not, you could ease him in and maybe work him in as that swing tackle for New England. That will do it for today's show. Make sure you do hit that sub button, whether it be myself or Harrison Graham. We will have you covered on the latest around the New England Patriots in the NFL Draft, which is just under 2 weeks away. So hit that sub button because we will be the #1 home for Patriots NFL Draft content for the rest of the month.